welcome back to Visions. I'm Mirella Rich. If you've just joined us, we're here with Yasser Solomon from the Muslim community, Helen Gardner from the Jewish community, and David Schutz from the Christian community, all members of the Jewish Christian Muslim Association of Australia. Welcome back to the program.
Thank you.
And how do you see your vision for the future in this group?
Well, I think it's already starting to be realised, which is quite heartening and inspiring. Partnerships beyond dialogue, once you start speaking to people, all sorts of doors start opening up. And I guess your horizons keep on changing. The more you develop understandings and put in place different partnerships on different projects. You can see things developing right now in this regard, and it's quite inspiring to see that happening at younger levels, not just the more established people in different religions getting involved, but the younger people are starting to talk about this in a very constructive way, which spells out, I think, a good future for this state, if not the country.
Beautiful. And do you have backings from other faiths?
Yes, we've
from
got
all the faiths. Yeah.
From our three faiths, yes, we have the backing of the Jewish Community Council of Victoria, the Islamic Council of Victoria, and the Victorian Council of Churches, and then there's a number of other organisations who work in the area who also support our work. So certainly the three major faith community roof bodies from the three organisations are all very actively supporting the work that we do.
Beautiful. And what about the confidentiality of the conversations that go on during the conferences? People's names?
Well, it's important to say that to build up a feeling of trust between one another, we need, at our conferences, at any of the events that we have, that anything that is said remains within that environment. We don't make statements as a group to the media. We're not there to represent a particular point of view. We're there as a place for us to meet, and for that we need to have fairly good confidentiality guidelines as well.
Right. And what about other religions? Are there other religions involved?
No, not really. We're specifically for Jewish, Christian and Muslim. It doesn't mean that in Victoria there isn't meetings of the other religions. Just recently has been established a Faith Leaders Committee for Victoria, which does cater for the Eastern religions as well as for ours. But I think our three religions have something very much in common. We not only share the common ancestor or spiritual ancestor Abraham, we also share a similar understanding of revelation. Our religions are revealed from God, and so rather than a mystical religion. Also, and this is perhaps a controversial point and one that can be discussed in other areas, we do share the same God. We believe different things about that God. We do believe that this is the God of Abraham, the one God. And our monotheism is important in that sense as well. And so from these common grounds we can have a conversation which would become more complicated if we had religious views which come from a different perspective.
I think it's important to also add that individually the people who are working on the JCMA association are also in contact and involved in interfaith dialogue with other religions. So it's not as if we keep to ourselves, but this is something that's uniquely for these three faiths. But we are in very active engagement with other faiths.
And because you know it's possible, because you've built it with yourself.
It's not that we don't value interfaith work with other organisations, but we see a role for an organisation which is specifically for the three Abrahamic faiths.
And what would you say your vision is, Helen, for this group?
I'd like to see it, apart from, I think the partnerships and the active doing things together is actually very important, but I think I'd also like to see it grow in terms of people coming to the conference and being exposed to the sorts of activities and the experiences that you can have when you actually deal on a face-to-face level with people from another faith, and perhaps a faith that you may be suspicious of or that you may have some concerns about. And I think that then you have an obligation to take that back to your own community and try to communicate with them that you met people and not Muslims or Christians or whatever. And as Yasser said, the conference, when his attendance at the conference and his work with JCMA has already affected his family and how they interact with other people. And so you can see that it can actually have a multiplying effect, and I think that's what I'd like to see.
Beautiful. And David, what about your vision? What's your vision with JCMA?
This year, for the first time, we're opening the conference up to families. We have family accommodation. I'd like to see it become more of something which involves not only individuals but whole family units as well. And also endorse the fact that we would like to have more people involved. Every year we have a certain number of repeat offenders, such as myself and Helen. We've been to all of them, and Yas has been to at least 2 of the conferences. But last year we had only about 15% of people who had been before, and the rest of the people to the conference were new. And if this happens every year, we build upon the trust we may build in former gatherings, but also bring other people into that network and keep growing in that sense.
I think that's very interesting. When we went to the first conference and I looked at the program, and it was very tightly organised, there wasn't a spare minute. And I looked at the program and I said, this is a conference that's been organised by people who are scared stiff that if we have a second which is not organised, we'll fight and the whole thing will blow up. And I think we've learned since then that it won't blow up, and that there is time, that we now allow time for personal interaction. We allow some free time, an afternoon for people to go for walks together or do something like that. And what I've noticed is that each conference, the level at which we are able to discuss things gets deeper, even though it's different people who are coming. I mean, you might think that if it was the same people who are coming, well, you know each other a bit better and so you feel that you can. But in fact, we've been able to build into our organisation something about that deepening level of trust, which has enabled people to interact at a deeper level at each of the conferences I've been to, and I hope that that will continue too.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah.
You've been watching Visions. I'm Mirella Rich, and our guest was Yasser Solomon, Helen Gardner and David Schutz from the Jewish Christian Muslim Association of Australia. Hope you enjoyed the program. See you soon.